Hello, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, the executive producer here, and I've got a few pre-show notes for you. First, a reminder. All of the content we produce is available on our website at finalshowfilms.com, as well as youtube.com/senstaku, senstaku.podbean.com, twitch.tv/senstaku, and on iTunes. We are only able to do the things we do thanks to the kind support of our Patreon donors. We give a special shout out to our $25 tier supporters, Antitonic and Cat Waterflame. If you'd like to support us that way, be sure to check it out. Secondly, a thank you to the folks over at 411mania.com. They produce articles and content related to wrestling, MMA, movies, music, and gaming. Go check them out. We appreciate their support as well. And lastly, be sure to subscribe, comment, and rate, if possible, wherever you listen to or watch our content. It helps us know what you like, what you don't like, and helps us make more content. Feedback is always appreciated. With all that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy. We're live.
Hi.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Changing the Lost in Grover Green. I'm Jack, the storyteller for this Final Show Films production. And before we get started, let me introduce you to our cast of characters, starting with Jeremy.
I am Jeremy. I play Adele Darkling Grave.
And Raphael.
Hi, I'm Raphael. I play Neofly, the Darkling Night Singer.
And Aaron.
Hi, I'm Erin, and I'm playing Gail, the fairest dancer, flowering.
And Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara. I play Liz, the wizened oracle.
And William, first of the brothers not so grim.
I'm William, and I play Phage, the ogre gristlegrinder.
And the second of the brothers not so grim, John.
I am the most grim. What are you talking about? I'm playing Nero, the elemental fireheart.
Unfortunately, Holly, who plays Lark, our Beast Windwing, was not able to be with us today, but we shall soldier on in her absence. So, as the sun rises once again on the city of Baltimore, a few days having passed since your last experiments and extravaganzas and expeditions, once again, somewhere across the city, someone, somewhere, turns on a very specific radio. Salutations, all my tricksy siblings, from fen, from forest, from town, from trestle. Whatsoever your second birthplace might be, DJ Utzel welcomes your attentive ears this eve. A moment of great import does befall us apace, and the harmonies and strifes that attend our communities have reached feverish heights. Alliances are both built and broken, and further conflict lurks just o'er the temporal horizons. But the convocation draws nigh, and it warrants all to be in attendance, lest your own whispers go unheard, unnoticed, as all our company prepares to learn who will lead these testy rivals. It's been a few days since you guys left the Goblin Market and performed the final function of your Dawn Zingris pledge with the Haunted Waters Motley. It's kind of midweek right about now, and you've had a few days to attend to the Hollow, take care of any personal business you might have, and you're still keeping an ear out for whenever this grand citywide changeling assembly is going to happen, when apparently the topic of the Freehold's name, identity, and the various courts and power structures that people will hopefully voluntarily submit themselves to in order to gain a level of stability in their community. What all's going to come of those various topics? So, what's everybody been up to these last few days?
I would have been looking around for information on the person that we're supposed to find for the summer court.
Okay.
Because apparently the crowd that he runs with makes him difficult to find. And so I would have been trying to make some form of headway in that direction.
Okay. Give me a wits and actually a wits and streetwise.
Wits and streetwise, you say? These are things I can do.
Kalaneg.
Yes, that was their name.
Call it an egg. Wait, what?
No.
I'm going to spend a willpower.
Okay.
Wham and 3. Woblam. 2 successes.
All right. So you do know that he was apparently seen around the Gwyn's Falls neighborhood, and supposedly running with a bunch of changelings that were at least somewhat in that area or known to frequent that region. As you sort of try to fall back into your, street investigation persona, it's not as easy as you thought. It takes you some time, and of course you can't just form a network of contacts and start asking about weird snake people in a matter of days. But you do your best to sort of figure out who's who up in that area, ask around. Nobody really specifically resembling the description that War Dancer gave you can be found, at least in an active sense. There's a few people that may have seen him once or twice sometime in the past week or so, but not enough to where you feel like, oh, if we go to a certain place at a certain time, we're fairly certain to find him. Most of the places he has been seen have been sort of in the northeast section of the neighborhood, though, close to the cemetery and the park. So you're narrowing things down a bit, but you haven't found a solid contact who can tell you where he is or when he'll be there.
Okay.
Phage, you had a weekend.
Yes, I did. That weekend was mostly spent at the club that I was given from Paige, interacting with her mostly.
Yep. And as you do that, she was present. You guys were able to hang out for a few hours on a couple consecutive evenings. She's a student at UMBC, turns out, preparing to graduate sometime within the next year. And yeah, you guys have a pretty decent time. There's plenty of socialization options at the sort of places that she's familiar with. And you're starting to figure out, where the good bars are and where the dive bars are. Was there anything specific that you were going to be doing as you and Paige were hanging out?
In particular, I was wondering if there was any chance of gleaning glamour off of anyone at the bars while I was there.
Give me a presence and socialization roll.
My bar specialization does apply.
Yes, it does.
Because this is specifically bars. Presence and socialize. Sheet roll +1. 3 successes.
Yes. So as you spend some time over the evenings, you don't do anything too overt. So it's a gradual process, but yeah, you're able to pull 3 glamour off of the various people that you spend time with. 1 off of Paige herself, and then a couple off of some other individuals that she introduces you to.
All right.
Gail, what have you been up to?
So Gail has been helping out where and how asked. She's doing essentially what she's told, and potentially with permission, looking into jobs, trying to find a source of income that's not just we magically agreed we have income.
And then Adele gets everybody credit cards that somehow generally refill themselves.
Yes, but the hope was to find a job or something, or at least just socialize in those circles. I have a few people that the Haunted Waters pointed us towards. Including, I don't have all of my notes with me, but including someone who does weed, someone who does fast food, sort of just trying to. Sunset Blue was another one mentioned as someone who might know about employment stuff.
Right. Would Gail be more inclined to go the legal or illegal route initially?
Her inclination would be to find something that suits her talents,
Okay.
regardless of its legality.
All right. Leaffinger is known for having a fairly sophisticated marijuana grow inside the city bounds. The other individual that you were pointed toward, Joey Hot Sauce, runs a number of restaurants, and his would definitely
By
be
any
the
chance
more.
does he run a Hooters?
He's got not a Hooters brand, but definitely something in that vein. Yes. If you go to talk to him regarding employment, he would be willing to meet with you. You're ushered in to a foyer at an actual house in a residential area, and a middle-aged woman gives you a smile and says, he's in the back if you'd like to follow me. As you walk through the house, you notice that it's decked out in a very sort of modern white person home style interior decorating.
Okay.
It looks lived in, but there's a level of wealth evident. As you step out in the back, you can smell already the odor of meat being grilled. And as you come out, there are a number of different link meats, sausages, bratwurst, that sort of thing, out on a grill with an absolutely enormous individual who looks over his shoulder and flashes you a huge grin as he's wearing an apron, rough T-shirt and jeans with some cross trainers, but obviously some variety of the ogre. Huge teeth, mouth that curls back farther than biology would consider appropriate. Small circlet of horns just kind of poking out at various points in an irregular fashion. His hair is kind of slicked back off to one side. The standard, yes, I look like I'm about 50 years old and I'm a fat white guy and I need a comb over kind of appearance. But he gives you a quick glance up and down, and the eyes, while welcoming, are very, very shrewd. Oh, what can I do for you today?
Very nice to meet you. I'm new in town, I suppose would be the correct way of putting it. I understood that you employ many people. No,
if you're looking for a job, we can get you covered, definitely.
Yeah, that would be generally what I was hoping to accomplish.
All right. Did you come through on your own, or because I've been hearing we've got plenty of people that are...
I came through with a group of others. I can't speak to how many of them would be interested. They tend to change their minds quite frequently on these things.
Okay. So we'll say for the time being, you're representing yourself.
Yes, that would be most accurate.
Reasonable. Okay. Well, not sure how long you've been back, but we generally operate on favor for a favor around here. And if we're going to be working together, you do a project for me, I'll find a job for you.
Seems quite reasonable.
Excellent. Well, I've got, shall we say, some rivals in town, and I need to give one of them a gift. He pulls out a small wooden box with a hinged lid and gives you the address of a downtown restaurant. Apparently, it has to be placed in their largest food storage unit and have the lid either just cracked or all the way open. Once you've done that, they'll find a decent place for you. And
Okay.
if you get any helpers on the job that seem to be fairly effective, he'd be willing to consider them for employment as well.
I'll go
Definitely
back.
definitely try and hide it. Once you put it in there, though, hide it in a place where it won't be noticed. I want it to
Right.
take as long as possible for them to find it.
I think I understand.
Excellent.
Spoil
And,
all
yeah.
their food with magical implements.
When you're done, just come on back and let me know. We'll find a good spot for you.
Cool. So, based on that conversation, Gail will survey the rest of the group, see if any of them are interested.
Fate
Who
is probably
wants
hard to
an
find
actual
over the
job.
Fate is
Well,
probably hard to find over the course of this weekend.
Same thing
If
with
it's hard to
Neofly.
find Phage, I will leave her voicemail. Just, well, I wanted to be sure you were aware that I found a possible opportunity for employment in the food industry. I didn't know that that was something that might be of interest to you. But if you happen to have time, call me back, I guess. I am so not... All of this phone etiquette seems so inappropriate these days.
Yep.
Hang out.
So you tell the rest of us. Do you tell us about the box and things, or
The initial, it is, sort of what I told Phage. I found an opportunity for employment for those who might be interested. There is a task to accomplish.
What's the task?
Adele hears the word food service and politely declines.
Neofly
You're
is
rich.
probably
You don't have to worry about it.
This is also true.
What's it called? Neofly probably is also hard to find in this time of break because he's probably doing some stuff.
Well, the offer is extended.
what?
Um,
What do we have to do?
Nero would have asked, what's the task?
well, if you're interested, I basically have to put a thing in place.
What?
What
What
thing?
Place.
Oh, it's just some corporate sabotage. It's fine. Honestly, I'd be a little more comfortable doing it in an office than a food service place, but I can deal with it.
I'll let you handle it.
All right. I mostly asked if you wanted a job, not if you were interested in playing for no reason.
What are we doing? We're just putting a thing somewhere. That's easy.
Yes. We're putting a box.
Where's the box? How big is
I
the
have
box?
the box.
Can I see it?
No, because I don't trust you. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be honest and did not pretend that I'm better than people.
I'll stare at you.
Gail, just for your information, the box you have has a sort of rough, unfinished feel to it. It's probably about 4 inches square, and there's a few symbols burned into the wood of the lid. And it's got a little tiny metal latch on the front.
How am I supposed to help you if you won't? If we don't have the box, am I just supposed to be the distraction? What are we doing here?
Well, so the box needs to be placed with the lid partway open
Okay, so
inside of
something can get out,
probably
or something
yes.
can get in. Maybe they're trapping
It's probably
something.
magic.
Yeah, I could tell you if you gave me the box.
I don't think I'm supposed to look into it.
Not
All
knowing
right.
is part of the fun.
No, Gail's got housewife guilt.
So what are we doing? We just have to go. Where are we going?
Give her the location.
Yeah, it's a moderately upscale restaurant downtown.
And we just need to put it in the largest food storage.
Are there going to be normal people there?
I think so. My
Okay.
guess would be at least some of the customers are mundanes.
Okay. So you want to put the box in the place?
Well, what he said was that I was representing myself, of course, but if others participated and were able to be useful, and they also would have the opportunity for employment. So I want to provide everyone the chance to participate if they so chose.
Okay. So
I'm asking if you're
Plan
interested in a food job.
no, but this is
Or
we
if
need
you
a
want
job.
to do it anyway.
I don't know. There's a
right.
box. There's a mystery. The box. Also, you don't look capable of doing this by yourself.
Possibly as Lark walks by with a look of amusement or something. Yes. The box is supposed to be a mystery to us and also to the person that we're putting it there to surprise.
Okay. Do you want me with?
Do you want to come?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You're not going to call the police or anything stupid again. Sorry, I shouldn't call people stupid. You're not going... You sort of understand the general situation we're in a little better now.
Yes.
Great. Yeah. Let's go.
What's our strategy for getting in the restaurant? What are we doing?
I'm hot. Sorry.
Okay.
That's self-aggrandizing. I'm supposed to be working on all of this, damn it. I believe that my physical attractiveness will provide some benefit on that front.
Okay.
How do we get into the restaurant? I'm hot. Wait, fuck, no.
Wait, fuck, that was saying something positive about myself.
I love how
then-
Gail never takes the lessons that Paige is trying to teach her the right way.
Yeah, that's...
All right.
Maybe
So are you
Paige
guys?
isn't a good teacher.
So are you guys headed straight for the restaurant then, or are you getting anything or doing any other preparations on the way?
Basically, the question is, who wants to be the distraction? Who wants to get in?
Listen, if I'm anything, it's just distracting.
Okay.
Probably. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, you cause a scene after I've sort of persuaded and socialized my way around back.
Okay.
And then I'll...
What's this? How are we signaling each other? We could do hand signs.
Sure. Once
But if you're behind a wall, I can't see you.
that is a good point. How about once you see me go back, you give it half a minute
Okay.
and then start causing a distraction.
Okay. But not
right.
calling the police.
So you guys show up to the restaurant. You're standing on the sidewalk outside the main entrance.
Mhm.
Who's going where and doing what?
This is really fancy.
It's fairly fancy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try and find someone I can dupe. Probably someone who works there.
Looking for an employee. Okay. Well, as you walk in, the hostess greets you. Yes, 2 for today?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, be about 10 minutes, I think, and then we should have... But what name should I use?
Yeah.
Gail. All right. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So you guys sit down on a padded bench of some sort. You wait.
Mm-hmm.
About 20 minutes goes by, and then Gale party of 2, and they lead you to a table.
Sweet.
There are no booths.
Where is this table? Is it in the middle?
Table is sitting more or less on the western side, kind of close to a window.
Okay.
And they bring you drinks, and they ask if you're ready to order yet. After they hand you, they show you the menu that is already there.
I think we'll need a little bit of time.
All right.
Look at the menu.
So the waitress wanders away. It's a kind of a Hawaiian fusion cuisine kind of place.
Looking around, do I think I know where the largest food storage thing would be? Just
Absolutely not. You can see what you think is the entrance to the kitchen.
All right.
And the bar, of course. You can see the bar.
It doesn't quite apply for Bar Hopper, but Gail's going to use her persuasive qualities to lift some ropes. Probably try and find someone that locate an employee that's might be the interest of a Gaelish attractive person may supersede logic for them.
Okay. Give me a manipulation and socialize.
Excellent.
-2.
Okay. Let me just check. I believe I can spend glamour on socialize, but I'm not sure if it's just socialize in a specific context.
No, I think it's for pretty much whatever.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, you can buy extra dice 1 for 1 for
On
anything.
manipulation.
On manipulation, yep.
Which this is. And
since it's a socialize, you get 9 again.
yes. I was going to say there's definitely 2 different things I have.
Yep.
So 9 agains, and I'll spend a glamour.
Okay.
Which makes it only a -1.
Uh-huh.
Five successes.
Which is an exceptional success, which is exactly what you needed. So, yeah, you find you step out and you find a individual who is starting her break. She is an employee and definitely casts a favorable glance your direction. You notice her playing with a lighter, so you ask her if you can join her for a smoke. And she says, well, yeah, but I have to go out back for that. And she sort of looks both ways. And then there's a small door that leads sort of through the dish pit, more or less. But it's more of kitchen than you would have had access to previously. And she starts gliding you back there. And sort of holding out and then holds open the back door into the back alley.
Sliding back there and hoping Liz remembers distraction.
All right. So at this point, yeah, by the time you hit the back alley, that's definitely been the 30 seconds. Liz, are you keeping track or are you getting distracted?
Let's see. I'm just gonna roll just a random number to see what it's. Oops, that was 1 die. That was 0 die. Why did I do that wrong? Give me a second. Let's do 1. Dice. There we go. Ta-da! All right. Success. Yes, I do manage to keep track of time.
All right.
And I have to do a distraction. Well, everyone got really annoyed when I told the way
in specific. Something that would essentially get anyone to prioritize dealing with that over her.
Okay. Well, the only thing that's worked so far is drawing stuff. So I start drawing on the tablecloth. A very nice tablecloth with chalk.
Okay.
Only chalk drawing.
Yep.
Give me a manipulation and crafts then.
Okay.
It's a Hawaiian fusion restaurant. The tablecloths aren't that nice.
I don't know. It's a fancy restaurant of some sort. It's a rival.
You find something to draw on.
I find
You're
something to draw
definitely
on.
not supposed to.
2 successes.
All right. So yeah, you get probably about 45 seconds into your drawing before people start noticing, and you start catching eyes first from other customers and then from the wait staff who come over. Ma'am, what ma'am, you can't do that. And they start attending to you. And other people are looking around for. Wasn't there somebody here with? Oh God, maybe she's. Oh no, right. And you're definitely drawing most of the eyes in the restaurant at this point.
She left. This is the explanation I give for anyone who asks where the other person in this party is.
Okay.
She left.
You seem to have convinced people that you are, in fact, subject to some level of mental illness. And your caregiver is apparently nowhere to be found for some reason.
Look,
this is a problem.
Sometimes people need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, that's where they head
Sometimes
first.
The girl can be trusted for 5 seconds.
Sometimes, and that's definitely where they go first, and they definitely do not find you there.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in the alley having a smoke with LaToya.
Yep.
Does Gale smoke?
Gale is not a regular smoker.
Okay. But this is not the first time she's had a cigarette.
No.
Okay.
Not at all. She just smokes a lot less now, post changelingness.
Okay. Well, the cigarette ends, and LaToya has to go back for her shift, so she kind of leads you back in through the dish pit. What's your play?
Right.
Just disappear when she
Gale knows she has to adapt the plan. How is she going to do this?
Yeah, you are definitely hearing a low-level disturbance out in the main area of the restaurant.
You're welcome.
The hope was that my guide would be called away to deal with things, but
yeah, no, this is apparently kind of more like floor manager level. Yeah.
that is what. Sorry, it's not actually late, but it feels like it's late to my brain. Gale is going to probably with the kind of ditzy persona of the person who's like, oh, do you want to go for a smoke?
I had a visceral reaction to that voice.
Wander around just sort of the wrong way, but mostly because I've never been here before. So confusing.
Give me, are you trying to do this without LaToya noticing, or?
I'm hoping LaToya will just assume I'm still next to her and then be like, oh, fuck, where did the stupid girl go?
Okay, give me a dexterity and stealth then.
Yeah, just vanish as soon as she gets distracted by the distraction out front.
Stealth and dexterity. I'm spending a willpower.
All right.
Yeah.
That's an additional 3 dice, correct?
Additional 3, yep.
2 successes on.
Okay. So yeah, as you guys approach the door, LaToya pushes it back open, kind of adjusting her apron again, and then definitely has that moment of, oh shit, what's going on out here? And you take that moment to drop back 2 steps and dash off to the left-hand side back into the actual kitchen proper. The kitchen proper is extraordinarily busy. It's packed enough to where, yeah, they have no time for seeing what's going on out in the restaurant floor. And the you are noticed by a couple of the kitchen staff, but they don't have time at this point.
Yeah.
You hear somebody call for chef, but by that point you're already around a corner into another spot. Give me a wits and composure. -1. Because this is an unfamiliar environment to you.
Wits and composure. I have 6 dice. Do I want to spend another willpower already? You know what? Yes, because I need a fucking job.
Okay.
I'll spend another willpower on this. 2 successes.
You still have your 9 again tagged, by the way.
Oh, oops, sorry.
Try re-rolling that one.
Yep. This character sheet's a little confusing.
It's a little complicated.
4 successes.
4
I'm
successes.
still okay.
All right. Yep. So you just glance around and see some things that look like large freezers, more or less. 2 of them in a row, and then another one with a set of double doors actually further down, which you head straight for. You go inside, and it is just packed with meats. It's probably about the size of your hollow was when you first found it. I mean,
by my basic estimation of how big this building would be, this seems like it qualifies.
This seems like it qualifies as largest food storage. Plus, you're pretty sure that the ingredients in here are probably worth more as well than whatever's in the other freezers would be.
Based on that, I don't know if there's like a stealth or a something else roll for like putting it as he asks somewhere that wouldn't be immediately noticed. Might take a little longer to find.
You can give me a wits and larceny.
Larceny is reasonable. I forgot that that's what the skullduggery was called.
Yep. Nah, you're good.
Wits and larceny. Yeah, that one I'm definitely gonna need to spend a willpower on.
I've worked in those freezers before. I know exactly where to put it.
And Gail probably has too. She just doesn't remember because it's been like
somewhere between
forever.
2 and 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Hard to tell.
Forever.
Been somewhere between 2 and 20 years of being coached to be pretty. 2 successes.
2 successes. All right. So yeah, you find a little hidey hole. Probably, honestly, with 2 successes, I'll say yeah. You find a rack that's actually kind of built in, but there's a little bit of space between it and the rest of the area, and you're able to jimmy the box kind of down and in behind, but with enough room where you'll be able to open the lid whenever you're ready.
All right. After that, open the lid.
And at that point, your vision goes dark. A rough cloud of fine particulates just erupts out of the box, and you blink for a minute and cough, and you see it settle throughout and waft around, and almost every square inch of exposed food, and it eats through whatever plastic and tissues, but seemingly without damaging it somehow. It's very odd. And the meat begins to dry and putrefy and rot with an extraordinarily rapid velocity.
Well, I'm going to sort of...
It's also all over your clothes.
I don't have a clean my clothes contract. Can I sense whether or not this would be something visible to mundanes?
You're pretty sure it would be.
Okay.
You just unleashed the Vashta Narada in the middle of a food storage room.
I mean, they're spores technically, but
Spores, as opposed to tiny piranhas that live in...
I'm just remembering the things from the head.
Look, it wasn't supposed to be a good plan.
Hey, whatever happens now, you've definitely fulfilled your end of the deal.
Yeah. Okay. So this, I know it's not like an actual deal, but Gail gets the sense this counts.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then I'm gonna definitely keep several changes of clothes in her car. Try and head out, preferably some way where she could either go out that back door from before.
Okay. Give me another dexterity and stealth then.
Okay. Because she has a secondary plan, but her initial plan is kind of botched now. Or is not. Her initial plan is less of a good idea now.
Okay.
I lost my lighting. Whatever. Dexterity and stealth. Given that this is social stealth, do I get the 9 again from being a dancer?
This is just trying not to get noticed.
Okay.
So it's not really a social stealth.
Then I'm fucking burning another goddamn willpower.
All right.
Burn it all.
This is something that is incredibly important to her.
Uh-huh.
3
I was
successes.
encouraging you.
Yeah, so you proceed down and you manage to get all the way out without any trouble. Nobody seems to notice you or your definitely slightly tattered and heavily soiled clothing.
Yeah.
And you're going back to the back alley?
Yeah, I'm going back through the back alley.
Okay. By this point, Liz,
Mm-hmm.
people are starting to ask you what your name is. Do you have a phone?
No, I
No,
don't
you
have
don't
a
have
phone.
a phone.
No.
At least for this operation.
I know.
Actually, no, they won't let me have a phone because I called 911 and.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. That's probably what she says.
Good.
And
Yeah.
there's some blinking. Give me a wits and composure -1.
Okay.
It's just nothing but the truth, and it just.
Gil's going to very quickly grab some clothes that'll make it look less.
1 success.
So, Liz, you do manage to hear them say, "All right, we're gonna have to call social services."
Okay.
Doesn't Liz? How old does Liz look?
She looks barely 21,
Okay.
but yeah. I don't know that Gail's out yet, so I continue and maybe try and move out because authorities are something that I'm not supposed to be doing. Dealing with. So.
Yes, do not do any of the authorities.
Also valid.
Yep.
So somebody's definitely on the phone to DHS at this point. And
I try to leave.
Department of Homeland Security?
Department of Human Services, dumbass.
Oh.
There
are 2 DHSs.
Ooh, that's dumb.
Hey, the terrorist people. I think someone's drawing on a tablecloth.
Wouldn't that just like you try to call one and you get the other? It's
That would
like
be fantastic.
excuse me, I found Osama bin Laden. I think you got the wrong people.
See, down here we used to calling it DFACS, Department of Family.
Yes, no, I remember DFACS from when I was in Georgia.
I
Yep.
mean, yeah, it's just CPS.
Right, yeah, there's a different one for every state. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Typhus.
So, yeah, no, it's DSHS up here, but yeah.
They're
So-
busy on their. Yeah, I'm trying to.
Okay,
like,
give me a manipulation and stealth then.
okay.
Like, while someone's calling
-2.
while
Yep.
someone's calling about the mentally unstable person, the mentally unstable person just disappears.
Mm-hmm.
We're just gaslighting this restaurant now.
There we go. Inflation. No, why is it not? It's because I still have wits. There we go.
No, I swear, there was someone right here.
I'm not
It had it
panicking
come.
yet, so I'm not going to spend willpower.
Okay.
-2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. 2 successes.
Wow.
Right.
All right. Yep. You managed to get out of the restaurant as people's attention is consistently being diverted from you to other customers and things of that nature. And yeah, they somebody sticks their head back out to get some information for the person on the other end of the line, and the crazy lady is gone.
Yep.
There's an immediate frisson of panic as they try and figure out where else in the restaurant has she run off to.
I thought about going further
Very
in.
World of Darkness. Not, oh God,
Leaving.
where she go? She's in danger. But oh God, our place of business.
That's very
You're welcome.
real world. What are you talking about?
All
I
right.
mean, that's why I say the World of Darkness and the real world aren't all that different.
No, they're really
Yep.
So yeah,
I-
okay. So both of you
head out-
have exited the restaurant.
Mhm.
More gargoyle statues.
How did you distract them? Oh, that's gross.
I drew on the tablecloth.
Okay. They got upset, and what happened?
They started trying to call some people. I told them that I didn't have a phone, so they.
All right. Based on that, Gail's going to. Okay, we're gonna. Gail is gonna, with Liz, head a few blocks down. I'm going to yell at you. It's not because I'm upset at you. It's just so that someone has further details on this to just establish a timeline of events if anyone actually looks into it.
Wait,
They probably
what?
won't. Just know I'm acting and you're not actually in any.
What?
And then once we're like 3 blocks away or so, I thought you could handle this. We took you out to a restaurant one time. This was supposed to be your birthday. I was trying to be nice. And you go off, and the instant I have to do anything.
Give me a manipulation and expression.
Okay. And I'm just hoping that someone in the general area will
Actually, no.
remember
And
seeing
subterfuge.
this.
This is manipulation and subterfuge.
Okay. Is that still counts as a manipulation I can spend glamour on?
Oh,
correct?
yeah. Definitely.
All manipulation.
Can I only spend 1 glamour on this, or can I spend
No,
more?
as many as you want.
Okay.
1 die
Oh.
per glamour
Ow.
spent.
I believe there's like a limit on glamour per turn. Does that apply here?
Not if you're taking time to prep it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take the time I need to sort of prep. So is that a minus something, or do I not know?
You don't know at this point.
Okay. I'm gonna then spend just 2 glamour on it.
Okay.
Manipulation and subterfuge, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not putting subterfuge in because I don't have a minus for it being a social.
Okay.
So actually 3 glamour, sorry.
All right. No worries.
I'm not burning that last willpower just in case, but 1 success.
All right. So you catch a few eyes as you have your fake meltdown.
Okay.
And then I assume you guys are headed back to the car.
Yep. Get in
Okay.
the car.
Neofly, what have you been up to last few days?
Neofly has been trying to look for the queen of the night scene, Sunset Blue, to get to find himself some employment in the form of gigs, musical gigs,
Okay.
since she does have the connections.
All right.
What he's assuming she has the connections to get him some good money around here.
Give me a wits and streetwise.
Let's see. It's -1. Zero successes.
Okay. So you've been asking around, and people know what clubs she goes to, but you're never able to catch up to her.
Okay.
People definitely know who she is, but nobody can tell you where she lives or who her friends are. It's almost off-putting to you in a sense that someone this well-known in the club scene is still such a cipher and enigma to most of the other people around her.
Okay.
From a changeling perspective, it makes perfect sense. But from the mortal viewpoint, somebody should know who she is or where she lives or who she hangs out with.
Okay.
They know her favorites, but her favorites never seem to last for long. She's always at the cutting edge of whatever the hottest place is.
Okay.
But
has there been one that's been said multiple times as of recent when Neofly would go, or when I would go to ask around?
Not particularly. You don't get many repeats. There's very little information on her in the social scene. It's like she makes a huge splash and impact, but as far as hard information on her goes, the one place that you're catching some information on is Howl at the Moon.
Okay, so he's probably going to spend the rest of the time there trying to keep an eye out for her and see if he can get her attention in some way, shape, or form to interest her, and maybe employing him or letting him know about some type of employment.
Okay. Yeah, over this weekend, you don't see her show up at that location. There's a couple people that honestly seem to be copying her vibe and her image, but as you get closer, you're like, nah, that's a regular human with blue hair. That's not who I'm looking for.
Got it.
Yeah.
So if that wasn't working for him, he would have tried to. Probably during the day, he would have been probably getting a lot of exercise because he has been wanting to focus on his physique for a while, since he wanted to rebuild up his stamina and strength to get back to jumping in buildings and shit.
Plenty of options for that. Yep, you're definitely able to find plenty of time for that. Adele, anything for you last couple days?
Largely keeping fairly mellow compared to others. She is going to mostly be working on her living space in the Hollow. She's not bringing a lot, but she's going to bring a few things over from her own house. Some books, some things like that.
To keep the skeleton company.
Yes. and for reading material. Once that's done, which would probably be like early for her on Friday, which would, be maybe just before it gets dark. When she's done with that, she goes out, buys a battery, like one of those large battery sources that you can use for electronics and the like.
Yeah.
And she is going to spend most of the weekend in her room, because she has not had the opportunity to do much of her writing lately.
Okay.
So she is going to be working on that.
All right.
She has lots of inspiration as of late for some reason.
Huh. Wonder where that came from.
Yeah.
Right. And Liz?
Yes.
Anything else for you?
I was going to eat that spider web.
Okay. So this is the Red Star Dream spider web?
Yep.
Okay.
Or I actually hadn't asked about the Red Star. I had asked for a dream about tilting.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yep.
The tilted one. That was
I wanted to dream about tilting.
Okay.
So I eat it.
All right. Give me a resolve and composure as you attempt to eat something that was not designed to be eaten by humans.
No, and I'm going to spend a willpower on this if I can.
Okay.
Because this is important to me. Here we go.
She's just gonna be eating
6
these
successes.
spider webs.
It's like spaghetti.
Better not be.
So where are you when you eat this?
The Hallow's still kind of being built.
Yeah.
So
Somebody is
I'm
breathing
on
very
the
heavily into their mic.
I am on the roof.
Okay. Well, this building doesn't really have a roof, but you're on the top floor.
Yeah, there was a like an open the part. I remember a tarp got blown off, and so there's a hole in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of in that room area.
So you sit down with your fork and just sort of give it a twirl, and it all spools up pretty easily into one bite. You kind of grit your teeth, sort of suck your tongue to the back of your mouth a little bit, and bolt it into down your gullet.
Yep.
Anybody on the second floor will hear a thunk. You are currently standing on board a ship. The deck slants heavily to one side as the sun beats down on you. There's brisk wind, and whoever's steering this thing has it heeled over very, very steeply as they're attempting to maximize the amount of wind they're pulling in the sail. You immediately flail for balance and sort of catch your hand on one of the rails, and your feet skid just a little bit, but you manage to stay more or less upright as a spray of salt water just lashes right across your face. It tastes of strawberries, which is weird. Heavily salted strawberries. And the sun itself is actually moving with extreme rapidity based on what you're used to in a normal setting. That's partially because the sun is actually the glowing giant eye of an enormous seagull. And all of a sudden there's a crunch as the ship runs into something. Give me an strength and athletics.
Okay. It's not gonna go well. Let's see. Do. At least
I have gone upstairs and am crouched, looking down, looking at Liz with a cup of coffee, just waiting to see what happens.
She's got her hand clamped around a fork, and the fork is between her teeth, and she is just laying on her back with her eyes. But definitely not aware of what's going on around her.
Nope.
Yep, I'm waiting.
That did not click. There we go. 1 success.
Okay. You barely manage to keep your grip on the rail, although your feet completely slide out from under you, and you smack your ass into the deck of the ship, and it stops, and then begins to slowly right itself, and then without really moving forward very much anymore, tilts pretty heavily the other way. And it doesn't stop. And it capsizes as you see these huge tentacles reaching up and over and wrapping around whatever is left of this ship. You can see down towards the bow splintered wood that has just been completely annihilated by colliding with whatever this kraken-like monster is. And as the ship tilts over, you hang now from the rail before you finally lose your grip and plunge into the water below. Now it's more of a citrusy, salty flavor, and your eyes suddenly focus onto the sight of a tarp above you and glance to the side where Nero is looking down at you, sitting on his haunches, holding a cup of coffee.
Have fun.
Slowly take the fork out and look at it.
The spiderweb's gone.
Yes. That was weird. I lay back down and stare up at the tarp.
Okay.
I drink my coffee, stand up, and walk away.
All right.
As you do so, Nero, your phone rings.
Pull it out. Clardy.
It's a 410 number.
Click. Hello?
Nero, it's Will.
Oh, I will.
So assembly is set for night after tomorrow.
All right.
He'll give you an address.
I'll pull out a notepad from my vest and write it down.
Things are kicking off around 6. Doors open at 5.
What's the place?
It's a banquet hall, honestly, but we're meeting in the basement.
Oh wow. Anything we need to know to get in? Or just
if you show up looking like yourself, they'll know where to send you.
All right, cool. I'll let everybody know.
Good deal then.
Click.
Yep.
Look over at
What was
Liz.
that?
Oh, the assembly. The information on that.
Okay.
You look like
This
you need
is
some rest.
Probably.
It's a couple of days. Don't. No.
Okay. Yeah.
Day after tomorrow. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what he said, right?
Yep.
I didn't just suddenly have an aneurysm. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I did have one question. Over the course of hanging out with Paige, what are the odds that Phage ends up physically ousting a pair of douchebags trying to hit on one or both of them?
Oh, probably better than half.
I'm gonna send out. I'm just gonna call everyone, and if they don't answer, leave voicemail saying to meet up at the Hollow. Got information about A, the person we're supposed to find, and B, the gathering.
Okay. So everybody can consider themselves, at least sometime within the next hour or two, informed about such information. Right. Over those
there's a
days
long
as
delay.
well.
There's a long period where you probably don't really hear anything because she's trying to yell out "okay" from upstairs, but she doesn't have the vocal volume, and then finally she texts "okay."
Over the next couple days, anybody who still had any lethal damage, that you heal at least 1 point of that.
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody have more than that?
No, I have 2 more after that.
Hold on.
It's a 3-day period, so I think you would
I
heal.
have 2.
All right. I think you would, over the entire period, there's a maximum of 2 points of lethal damage that you guys can heal as long as you don't do anything crazy, which most of you are not. Yes, and you will gain willpower up to 3 willpower. Gale, you would have spent more or less that 3, so you would, I think, more or less stay fairly static to what your character sheet ended up with when we got the game.
I mean, I spent 4.
Oh, you spent 4? Okay. So yeah, so you're 1 down from where you started at the beginning of this game.
All right, great.
Okay.
Better than I was 2 minutes ago.
Right. But most of you are spending your nights either in the crack house or in the Hollow. And it's definitely become sort of the de facto assembly area for the unlikely motley. That evening, after Nero gets the information from Will as to where and when things are going to be, there are a couple things that happen. Gale, you're sitting in the kitchen right now, having redone some of the interior aspects, trying to set up that sort of thing, arrange the chairs, and then you look at the chairs and no, that's not the best arrangement for the chairs. I bet I could put the chairs over here, although that makes the table seem slightly out of balance. Maybe if we had a different table, that would be fantastic. Neofly, you are upstairs in one of the open rooms. You've been sitting in your room as the sun sets, letting your fingers wander over your guitar, trying to remember some of the music you used to play in Arcadia, and then trying to decide if it would be a good idea to remember it or not. You can also hear sounds from outside, vehicles passing, kids at play, that sort of thing. A door slams, the occasional passing bird will call out a little bit, and then, Neo, there's a voice outside from the sidewalk, floating up through your open window. Feminine, clear, and is followed by a few short knocks on the door. Surprising for how dark it is outside. It's definitely been past sunset for almost an hour there, and you freeze momentarily as Butterfly's voice calls your name again. Neo, they said I could find you here.
Butterfly, is that you?
Neo, I can hear you. Where are you? And there's another knock at the door.
I'm
that?
rushing to the door to open it.
Do we hear this?
Gail, you're in the kitchen, and you decide to step out briefly just before this occurs, and you wander down and out the back door, looking around, and you notice the grass back here is very sparse, and there's a gap in the fence that still hasn't gotten repaired yet. And you see a couple flowers blooming a little further out, and you consider to yourself that would honestly probably fix the table if we put some wildflowers in a vase, and that would give it a nice little homey sort of pull the entire room together sort of thing.
I'll pick the flowers this time, and then I can let Adele decide for death flowers next time. Right.
They're probably about 20 yards past the fence, so you duck through the gap, and you notice that the only reason you could really see them is because there's a train trundling past on the tracks down below, casting light over the field towards the back of the house. And the glare as you pick the flowers kind of quickly departs, and you glance back down towards the tracks, and suddenly there's this wave of curiosity that comes over you. What's down there? You haven't been down there yet.
This is an important question. Would any of my group have ever told me don't go there?
Nobody said anything about the train.
Mm-hmm. Then the table can wait for a few minutes.
Okay. Yeah, and the flowers will survive. You know how flowers work. You're good with flowers.
Yeah, I am a flower.
Yep. Neo, as you get to the door, and you open it, she's standing right there, chromatic mottled skin, iridescent rainbow wings that reach nearly her ankles, compound pupils at the center of her eye. It's Butterfly. Roll me a wits and composure -2.
What's a composure -2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One success.
She doesn't look entirely the same, though, as when you last saw her more than a week ago in Arcadia, as you guys were attempting to escape the Comtesse's domain. Mm-hmm. But she's standing there, and she sort of just reaches a hand out to you.
I grab her by the hand, and I pull her in.
All right.
For an embrace.
Gail, as you begin to walk your way down over the back towards the railroad tracks, you notice that they're fairly heavily lined by probably about a 4 or 5 foot tall series of bushes and shrubs that have sort of just grown up in the drier soil and gravel that sits here. And a faint voice begins rising from somewhere behind this wall of shrubs and briars. It's singing, not terribly clearly or well, but the words are quite audible. It's a voice you haven't heard for more than a week, and one that you'll probably never truly forget. But where have you gone, my own true love? Where have you gone this day? You've taken my blade and my left-hand glove and carried them far away. It may take a year as the seasons pass by. You can't. I'll follow your trail alone. I'll wrap you in silk from ankle to eye and drag you away back home. And as you turn to run as fast as you can, you feel something wrap around you, swathing you in soft folds. As you, Neofly, pull her in for this embrace, she collapses into a mess of twigs, rags, sheet plastic, and straw, all held together by string and chewed gum. And you hear her laugh, a laugh that you've heard a few times before and always kind of treasured the sound of, devolve very quickly into the voice of the Comtesse. Surely you didn't expect the Lady of all Hunters to be impeded by a quick dash through the thorn groves, little fly. And both of your eyes snap back open. Gale, you're gripping the blanket in your bed tightly as you return to what certainly seems like wakefulness, unless this is the dream and what just happened was real. Neofly, you're kind of sitting in a chair with your hands just resting on your knees, looking around, having just started out of a dream that turned very quickly into a nightmare. And it's the morning before the night of assembly. And that's where we're going to take a break for a minute.
Back in a minute. Eric.
Fantastic. So, it's the morning before you guys are supposed to attend the assembly, and you have the entire day ahead of you, at least until 5-6ish.
Have I been able to pass around the information also about the person that I've been hunting down, like all the information that I've gathered on that?
Yes,
okay.
And all of you, I think, yes, all of you were present for the whole. Hey, if you want weapons, you have to set us up a meeting with this dude.
Kalanag, yeah.
Right. Find Kalanag and get the contact. So that's a commitment that you all share equally. So this is very relevant information to your current interests.
And I am continuing to pursue that today. So I will make it not anybody that isn't doing something else. I would appreciate it if you could assist me with this.
I will point out.
I'd like to have at least our end of this bargain done before the meeting tomorrow.
Give me, well, it's actually
Today.
tonight. Give me an intelligence and socialize anybody who hears this.
Okay.
I will point out to Neofly that the bar that I've ended up spending most of the weekend with Paige with is actually more of music and might be his style.
Okay, this would probably be after this whole conversation that Nero has with the whole team, because after Neofly probably wakes up, I'm assuming in a very, very cold sweat, and his blood pressure is up like 30 points higher than it should be. He just goes out for a run. He's just gonna go jogging, and you don't know when he's gonna come back.
No worries.
You said intelligence and socialize?
Intelligence and socialize.
3.
1.
0.
Yep.
Do I need to make one?
Oh
too?
yeah, it's a chance.
You
roll.
can if you want.
Oh, that's a chance. I didn't roll a chance.
I mean,
Never
I'm
mind.
probably going to roll poorly, but
All right. There's no chance.
because I've got 1 dice.
Yeah, chance die.
I've
Not
got
a
a chance
total
die.
failure though.
Is it a chance die or is it just 1 die?
It because I don't have I don't have the social skill, which means it's a -1, and I only got 1 intelligence.
So yeah, it's a chance die.
Yeah, chance die for me too. Fail.
Yeah. Okay.
Not a 1, but not a success.
Okay. So Adele, you immediately snap to a quick conclusion that Gale and Phage reach fairly soon afterwards. Yeah, if you're going to set up a social meeting, maybe at a place where all the changelings would have at least a moderately vested interest in being at anyway would probably be a good idea. So yeah, finding this guy before the meeting and having that in your back pocket of, hey, you're going to be at the meeting? Great. We're going to be there too. Let's go together. Oh, hey, you need to talk to this person, kind of thing might play pretty well.
Yes, of course.
Yes, I believe that would be in our best interests.
In Nero's mind, it's just, I don't want to have to face these people again and then have them go, so, how's it going? And us go,
And given that they were open to a more neutral location, if we're not able to convince him to go by their place, it's certainly a option for a meeting.
Yep. So I've got him pretty much, I'll indicate, somewhere in north side of the city between this graveyard and, what was the other place? I'm showing them on the board.
A park.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're more frequently located over here and here. So somewhere in the middle is where I'm guessing. That's all I've been able to find out while I've been looking. But
Is that a big place?
Is that a large area to search?
It's probably about 10, 15, maybe 20 city blocks, I think, roughly.
So yes.
I might ask, what do we know about this person as personality, interests?
What do we know?
You know his name.
Summer wanted him, and he didn't want to go.
What locations did I note that they were at previously?
Or rather, his group didn't want him to go.
Like,
Well,
Jack, what sort of locations was I finding that they had been spotted? Other than the two?
That was primarily it. People had seen them like walking down the street or pulling into parking their car nearby, that sort of thing. You hadn't heard that they were frequenting any specific houses or businesses or anything in the area.
Well, Summer wants him, so we can assume that he's at least a little bit proficient with a fight, whether with guns or his own hands. He apparently is not going because he's with this group that he's run into, so he's at least a little bit loyal, if a little bit misguided.
Also, the group that he's with are extremely secretive. I found, word of them wandering around a couple of places, nothing specific about their entrance, no regular haunts, nothing like that.
I thought Summer gave us one location that was specific to the group that they couldn't go, but we could.
Yeah. Well, no, Green Wall. But that was an area, right? Yeah.
Never mind.
Did they? I the only specific.
For some reason, I thought
I've got it.
Summer gave us an address, but
I don't think so.
They gave us a region, which is where they're known to hang out. But
yeah, that's what I've sort of narrowed down from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Basically, what you'd heard was that they hang out. He'd been seen hanging around Gwyn's Falls, which is the neighborhood that Nero has been investigating. There was a name, Green Wall, that was apparently affiliated with people had heard him mention, and there's supposedly some other changelings up in that area that nobody really seems to know all that much about either.
They're a little culty.
So we can go up to this area. We have a general area we can look around, looking for anything that might reflect the words Green Wall. But we're probably going to need to split up, which is why I need your guys' help, because I can't.
I pull out my phone and Google Green Wall in Baltimore.
Okay.
Sure.
What do you find?
That's a good point.
Because this isn't Boston, so...
Sorry. Boston, sorry. Boston. I get the right city.
But yeah, no, it's mostly businesses and that sort of thing, probably.
There's a series of walls that have plants growing on them.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's about it.
But yeah. And, I mean, yeah, there's a park up there, which is probably considered green space. There's the cemetery, which you don't really know all that much about.
Green Wall may not be a thing that mundanes acknowledge. So I don't know if Googling's going to... It may be...
better to check than not to check.
That's fair, but it may also be what they call an entrance to the hedge.
Probably.
Okay. So where are you guys headed once you get up that way?
I'm going to head for the park.
Okay. So the park itself...
Because I assume Adele's going to head for the graveyard.
I mean... It's almost like you know her.
Hey. We're friends.
Kind of quick word of note.
I wouldn't go that far.
Jack.
Go that far.
Neofly at some point would have probably looked for a park with a playground to kind of just start practicing his jumps and lunges or his parkour techniques.
Yeah, you can find any number of those around the city for the most part.
just in case he were to randomly run into one of his teammates, just as a point of reference.
It's a strange man on top of the swing set.
Jumping around him.
Mummy, are men supposed to climb on the playground?
Are you supposed to have that accent, Boston child?
Baltimore.
Whatever.
You just said Boston a minute ago.
You did.
Which city are we in?
Are we in Boston or Baltimore?
Sort of limbo?
We're in Baltimore. I said
Okay.
you didn't find much on Green Wall because we're not in Boston.
Oh.
Fenway Park.
You
did say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yes. No, we are all in Baltimore, and it's fun.
I
So okay. Who's headed to the park with Nero, and who's headed to the graveyard with Adele?
Graveyard.
Okay.
Whoever I'm asked to go, of course.
Raphael, where's Neofly headed? Graveyard or park?
If the team finds him, he's probably going to end up going to the graveyard.
Would have probably called you. Phone on.
Yeah, which he probably does.
Yeah.
Okay. So you'll get a call. You'll come back and meet them. All right. So Liz, Adele, and Neofly are team graveyard, and the other three of you are team park. And Lark is watching the car.
Neofly figures out that he's dealing with Adele and Liz again, and in his mind he's just like, fuck. Shit happened the last time. Fuck.
Benefit to this time is that it's daytime and the graveyard is open.
I mean, you consider daytime a positive.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. But knowing
we don't.
It has some positive connotations to it.
My thing is knowing Liz. The whole thing with Neofly is knowing Liz.
Mm-hmm.
No time of the day is safe. No time is safe. 24 hours, it's dangerous.
It has a positive connotation.
You just need to learn how to wield Liz's untapped potential.
You have to learn how to direct the raw force of nature that is Liz.
I don't think I'd like to be able to do that.
You just turn her in a direction and say, this is what we hope will be accomplished here.
It's kind of like a windmill or a water mill. It's just, you just...
Channel tape.
You have to...
Well, we're just going to have to wait and see.
It's open this time. We go in.
So, whereas Team Park, you guys get to Lower Gwynns Falls Park, and it's about what you'd expect. There's a little water course running through it, some basketball courts, a little bit of a trail, mostly just green space though. Some scattered woods. You call them kind of woods in patches, and then the stream, and then the railroad tracks on the other side of that, and then you get back into more residential and junk.
How do you spell Gwynfall Park? Or
Gwynns, no apostrophe.
And what was the other word?
Falls.
Falls. Gwynns Falls Park. Okay.
Yep.
Is there any like why did I search Yahoo? That was weird.
I don't know. Why?
Meanwhile, the rest of you,
Yahoo.
The rest of you.
I mean, if you
poke around the cemetery, it's fairly flat, honestly, for the most part. Not a ton of topography, and wide open. There's like a couple scattered solo trees, but it's mostly just open space with headstones. A couple small mausoleums. That's about it.
Liz,
Yeah.
make sure to please keep your eyes open the entirety of this trip. Thank you.
Yeah, help us find it. If it's here.
Well, if you're gonna do it, at least warn us.
I'm gonna do it. I immediately look at the sun.
All right. Make a resolve and stamina.
Okay.
Neo immediately grabs her hand.
2 successes.
All right, so you don't go blind immediately, but you get a good after image burn.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead and roll me your Panamancy roll.
Which is because I don't actually have a roll for it.
It works the same as the common sense merit. Let me grab that for you. Because I don't have that open for some reason. Nope, that's a werewolf book, not the one I need.
Why do you have a werewolf book open, Jack? What are we going to find in this park, Jack?
That was an old World of Darkness werewolf book that was in my history. Thank you very damn much.
You're wandering through the park and suddenly werewolves.
Oh no.
Not again!
Wolves!
Damn it, Graza! This is what happens.
I like how you're calling to a character from a different, universe of systems.
Wits and composure. Listen.
All right.
I just misspoke.
Like leaving World of Darkness straight to D&D.
Werewolves.
0 successes actually.
You follow your after image through your closed eyelids, smack face first into the wall of a mausoleum.
Even with Neofly.
Neofly, you're just holding her hand and letting her go, and she starts walking towards a mausoleum with her hand held out, and you're thinking, oh, maybe there's like a loose stone or some clue, or there's something, engraved here that's going to be something, and she holds out, and the palm hits, but that doesn't stop her, and she just takes 2 more steps forward, smacks her forehead against it.
Ow.
Neofly proceeds to put his head down and just say, God damn it, Liz.
Ow.
Meanwhile, over the park, what are you guys looking for?
So I'm...
Changelings.
Changelings, yeah. That's actually pretty accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, like just wandering through public spaces, looking for any sort of... anything that might be nicknamed a green wall.
Okay.
And
It's
also
an investigation.
Looking for changelings. Actually.
You ask of investigation rather than perception.
Yes, and
there's no such thing as perception.
investigation. These are things that I am good at, but to be better, I'm going to spend a willpower.
This is turning into quite the musical episode.
I have a chance die.
5 successes.
Nice.
Okay.
I'm assuming there's no chance I can try and do a social variant of this roll.
Not really. You guys are just looking around trying to see what you notice. You haven't actually made contact with anybody.
Which does not succeed on a chance roll, unfortunately.
No,
then
unfortunately
can
not.
Gale be looking for people who might know something?
Sure. Wits and composure.
Okay, that works much better.
5 successes for me.
All right. Well, let's see what Gale rolls, and then we'll
2 successes.
stitch these both together. Okay. So as you guys begin to wander through the park looking for anything that seems like it might assist, Gale, you first notice that, there's hardly anybody around. Even Phage, you can see very clearly. It's pretty isolated right now. It's pretty quiet. There's a few people, but even from this distance, you can tell, they're mundane as hell. No changelings about to be seen. Gale, you start gravitating towards the basketball court because that's where there's the largest number of people. And Nero, you begin to head towards kind of the woods on the northern end of that outskirt of the park. There's a little place where an asphalt trail runs through, and somebody botches a pass, and the ball goes bouncing off towards the north and rolls into the underbrush. One of the kids goes after it, and the other one yells after him, "Watch out for the creepy tree!"
I'm going to...
That's what happens when
Children are insightful.
I'm going to wait until the kid gets the ball and goes back, and then head that way looking for a creepy tree.
So the kid goes to grab the ball, and you see him kind of gauging his rough position in the landscape, and he's cheating off to the left-hand side. In a vaguely, definitely not going off to the right, sort of body language way, grabs the ball and starts heading back towards the basketball court. Got it! Stop being a dumbass.
So I head to the right, the direction he didn't want to go for some reason.
Okay. And as you go there, there is a rather singular tree that you do find. It's give me a intelligence and survival.
That's one of my bad ones.
It's an old oak tree.
It is not, actually, but I know what you're talking about.
Survival. One success.
All right. So you see this large maple, and it's growing at what would be called a wolf tree, horrible angles. It's knotted and twisted to an extent in its physiology, and its roots are actually pulled up somewhat from the ground. You remember hearing something about when a sapling sprouts on top of an existing stump, and then the stump rots away from underneath it as the sapling grows. You get this weird sort of underneath kind of thing. And as you're looking at it, there's a surprisingly large number of mushrooms and lichens just growing up the trunk from the side that you're approaching at. And there's a good 2.5, almost 3 foot gap between the ground surface and where the various forks of the roots kind of merge into the actual trunk of the tree that rises up forward. But you think, yeah, if I was a kid wandering down here later during the day when the light's not so great, yeah, this tree might creep you the fuck out.
I pull out my phone and call Phage, because I probably wandered away from Phage at this point.
Yeah, you're a little further than shouting distance from the other two.
Yep.
Answer the phone.
Hey, Phage, could you grab Gale and head over... Give a direction. I found a weird tree.
You know, I would question why that was relevant, and then I realized what we are.
Yeah.
I go to retrieve Gale and head that direction.
Okay. Meanwhile, the rest of you are at the graveyard.
Ow.
Adele, what are you up to as these two go walk into a building?
Just sort of...
Not inside, into.
Yes. Completely ignoring that.
Uh-huh.
It did not happen. And I am just going to... So Adele will sort of... Well, enjoying the overall ambiance. Drift through the places that that people are less likely to be gathered at.
Okay.
Trying to find perhaps the places that are that somebody who comes to such a place regularly might go, because those aren't going to be right out in the middle of everything, because then you're creepy.
Right.
And some people, unlike Adele, don't care, or actually care about whether they're viewed as creepy or not. So, the mausoleums that are sort of out of the way, looking for ones that might actually be able to gotten into, that people might hang out at, that sort of thing.
Okay. All right. So you're looking around and you're finding there's a couple, maybe 2 at the most. But everything here seems very, very barren, even from like a ghosty sort of perspective. It's inert. It's dead as fuck, and not in the way that you like it.
That's disturbing. Let me look at something here.
I like how the lack of ghosts is disturbing to Adele.
Yes. Well, regardless of who you are, I would think that a lack of ghosts in a graveyard would be a disturbing sign.
Someone ate all the ghosts.
It was the larger piranha ghost.
Also known as the worm.
No,
It turns out there's a reason the werewolves want to be here.
Just a large yellow ball rolls past Adele, going waka 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 waka.
Oh my God. For no reason whatsoever, Adele slaps Nero next time. No.
Nero would never make that joke. That's me.
So there's nothing. Are there any gathering of people for standard sort of funeral?
Not at this time. No, it honestly seems almost like you guys are the only ones in this graveyard right now.
It's a little creepy. And not so creepy.
Even
Back to the group at the tree. So Gale and Phage and Nero are at a weird tree.
That's a weird tree.
Similar to how we found the entrance to the hollow in our crack house, is there a way to sort of sense out if this is a connection point to the hedge?
Well, you have learned over the past, time of experience that you can open a gate to the hedge through anything that can serve or resemble a door, whether that's a car door or a window or a hole.
Like a gap underneath the tree?
Or like a gap underneath the tree. So, I mean, you could totally get to the hedge through that opening if you wanted to. Yeah. I mean, even like 2 pillars out in front of Walmart to keep people from crashing a car through the glass doors, you could make that into a gate to the hedge if you wanted.
It'd just be a little obvious.
Could I investigate around the base of the tree and see if somebody else has been using this as a gate to the hedge?
Wits and investigation?
Can I treat it like a crime scene?
You may not, sir.
Set up police tape.
Technically, you should, if you're looking for this sort of thing, it should be wits and survival. So I'm being nice by using investigation for you.
Thank you.
See, I could do wits and survival.
1 success.
Have a dot in survival.
There is some disturbing, something has disturbed kind of the leaf litter somewhat. You're not able to pull like a specific track as to whether it's, a dog or a human or, whatever. But they're right. Yeah. Or a human dog. But I mean, there's been something through here recently.
Can I tell if it went underneath the tree and didn't come back out the other side?
Not really able to tell that, no. But if you spend a point of glamour, you can go through and see what's on the hedge side of things.
Who wants to take a trip in the hedge real quick?
I mean, I'm game for it, but are we certain that there's actually something here?
You can get through under there, I say, pointing at the gap underneath the tree.
I mean, yes, you can get through just about anything that looks like that.
There is... Something has been around here recently, and the kids are staying away from it.
Why don't we see if it's a door without just trying to go into the hedge?
Can I? I mean, I guess that it is a door. Or, like, it can be a door regardless, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. See if it's a permanent
can
door.
I use my common sense merit in this context?
Yeah, definitely.
The DM give me merit.
Wits and composure.
The are we about to TPK half the party merit? 1 success.
As a changeling, you can definitely see the draw of using this as a door. It's got the right vibe almost, in a sense. You can see why this would be, if you're going to set up, even if it's not a permanent door, a frequently utilized one, it's a place that the kids themselves kind of stay away from. Point in your favor. It's very iconic, which if you have any sort of art in your soul, right? Yeah, it's very changeling-esque, and it's easy to identify, and it's a decent landmark where you're not saying, "Hey, go between the 2 street signs." Which street signs? Well, they're the ones that are like halfway down, like all the way at the end of the street. No, the other end of the street. Oh, okay. It's very easy to describe to someone. If you
creepy looking tree is all by itself.
Right, yeah. The creepy looking mushroom tree. You tag it and you crawl through and bam, meet me there kind of thing.
Well, if I could question, let's just assume for a moment that this is a regularly used passage. Is it necessarily appropriate or best foot forward to wander on it?
considering they're not going to come out if we knock. Yeah.
Very well then.
We might catch shit for it, but better to confirm that this is the place we want or immediately disprove that it's the place we want and head out.
Of course.
I will spend a glamour and crawl through the hole.
Okay. So you just brush a hand down across one of the parts of the root as you duck your head under to crawl through, and you feel that connection to the weird right there as you do whatever it is to break through the mist of reality onto the borderlands of the real in Arcadia. And you crawl underneath. It smells of wet soil and the occasional worm or insect a little bit. And then all of a sudden, drier, fresher leaves are brushing against your face. And you tumble through with a couple light scratches on your shoulders from thorns that have come out of nowhere into the place where you currently are. There's a little bit of a clearing around you, but it's still very thick plant growth. Meanwhile, the rest of you see Nero disappear underneath, and it's almost like he evaporates partway through before his last heel vanishes. And you know, hey, the door's open for a little while. You can duck in if you like also.
Phage just kind of starts muttering a song that she's familiar with to herself as she starts to go in. Raise your hats and your glasses too. We will dance the whole night through. We're going back to a time we knew under a violet moon. And at the under a violet moon is when she actually steps through the door.
Okay. So you get down on your hands and knees and you sort of angle one head and shoulder in to get through this, for you, very cramped but still barely passable entryway. But it broadens noticeably as you push in farther and you squirm your way through, sort of rolling out onto your haunches next to where Nero is standing, looking at this wall of thorns that was going to take a little bit of negotiation in order to get to anywhere besides immediately just here. Gale, are you staying or going? Okay. You as well duck underneath and crawl out the other side into a much more green but brightly lit area, not with the same sort of late summer dryness that Baltimore's been experiencing recently. And you guys are in the hedge. There's a little bit of circuitous space that a very charitable person might call a trail.
Well, I suppose this is where we knock.
Yep. Does it look like there's anything that would resemble tracks or a hollow knock on?
You've got about 10 feet of visibility in any given direction. Whatever is at your feet seems to be able to be traversed. But you know that the hedge is psychoactive. Even if there were tracks here, they might vanish in 10 minutes. They might last for 10 years. So you'd have to do some exploration if you're going to find anything about what's in the immediate area.
Can I attempt to maneuver the hedge out of our way so that we can actually get some movement room?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Roll a manipulation and weird.
Manipulation and weird. So, my manipulation +2. 5 successes.
All right.
Best at this.
So you kind of reach out and sort of try and impose your will, and there's a fractional drawing back as some of the thorns begin to curl away and the path becomes a little broader, a little easier to maneuver. You see it leads out, and then there's an outcropping of rocks, and then it sort of bends off to the left-hand side a little bit.
Well, at the very least, we can go through without getting cut up by thorns now.
Okay. So is that where you're headed?
I suppose if we're here to find them, we might as well get going. So
you step forward,
Someone
begin
with a
walking
package.
down. Yeah, that's nice. As long as it's a nice package. You step forward, working your way down, and begin to traverse the area. And you're able to find a number of footprints in the dirt of this pathway. Probably at least 3 or 4 sets, maybe more, hard to tell. And you begin to walk a little further down. You go around the corner to the left, and all of a sudden you're confronted by, probably about 20 feet away across a little bit of a clearing, a huge wall of very thickly intertwined brambles with jagged, sharp, probably almost 8 to 12 inch long thorns. And upon them is impaled the body of a humanoid figure in a vaguely messianic crucifixion position.
would you call this the green wall?
Does it look green?
Looks more brownish than green, honestly. I mean, there's green to it, being plants, but...
Certainly a wall. What does the humanoid body look like?
It's male, appears to be, tattered. The thorns go through parts of his forearms. There's one jagged one piercing through sort of the left side of his throat and coming out to a sharp tip at the essence. A couple through his torso as well. His legs are sort of just kind of dangling free about 18 inches off the ground.
So either our cult
Does it
is
seem to be a mundane, or does it look like a changeling?
Give me a wits and investigate, or an wits and composure.
I'll do that too.
I believe this affects my curse.
3.
Hang on.
Yeah, check your blessings and curses before you make your rolls.
Effect not.
I mean, unless I'm losing
Oh no,
clarity over this.
I don't get 10 again on composure rolls except for wits and composure.
Right.
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because wits and composure is do I notice things, so they try not to handicap people there too much.
I don't notice things.
That's okay.
3 successes, I believe.
Okay.
1 success.
Okay. You guys can definitely tell he's a changeling. Nero, as you're looking, he's got a vaguely scaly reptilian aspect to him. Gale, you immediately pick out, scales around the eyes and neck, some on the extended extremities as well. In fact, a number of them have flaked off and are laying in tatters on the ground with bits of flesh still attached. He's got small pockets, some sort of inset into his physiology under his eyes, right there, sort of above the sinuses. And his clothing, he's not wearing any shoes. And most of the torso, the shirt has been ripped off. There's only a few errant strands of cloth still hanging from the upper body. The pants themselves are fairly well intact. Some level of blue jeans, no belt. But yeah. Gale, you also notice a small piece of paper stuck probably about 15 feet to the right of him on one of the thorns.
Say anything?
Sorry?
Does the paper say anything?
If you go pick it up.
Oh, I was just thinking if it if it seemed like from what I could see of
it looks like there might be some writing on it.
Gale will sort of indicate to that. Seems that there's a message along with the clearer message.
I'll go grab it.
Okay. showing up in your handouts then.
Where?
It should be showing up in your journal.
Called Lost Letters?
Yes, it is.
Which one? There are 2.
Yes, there are. It's the one that you haven't seen yet.
Market laws?
No, it's only showing up in Nero's right now because he's the one who got it.
Is it 1/3/2016? Please do not make the mistake of believing.
Yep, that's the one that you just found.
So he'll read it out loud. Please do not make the mistake of believing that this blame is to be laid at your threshold. Setbacks occur, and we will only be the stronger for them. It is the way of the world since ancient history that innocents suffer for the wicked. A day of reckoning comes. We must be willing to strike to survive. A predator lurks among our own halls, and trods and cloaks himself in vague words and subtle deeds. But the threads are fast fraying. Blue is clean, and that is no small victory. Our noose draws tighter, and the culprit will be enclosed in the hutch of his misdeeds. We must be wary of his customer, for we draw closer to each with every passing day. It is poorly done to capture the bishop and be taken by the queen. Gird yourself, mon ami, mon chéri. Dawn is coming with flame to purify. So I think our cult is a little bit more culty than we thought.
Give me a wits and investigation, Nero. Your crime scene totally applies here.
Hey!
Finally.
Crime scene. I'm going to spend a willpower as well.
Okay.
It's investigation. 4 extra dice. Not 40, 4.
Yes.
8 successes.
Damn. All right. So here's what you find over the next
Batman
5 to 10
vision.
minutes. Yep. Of looking around and being helped by your friends. Around his neck, there's a bit of wire bearing 2 halves of an old broken key.
Can you deliver this in like a Sherlock Holmes monologue?
No. I mean, maybe if I'd prepared and had some practice, but no.
It's all coming to me.
Yep. The ground shows some tracks of at least 2 or 3 other people besides, and there are defensive wounds on the body. There's a very sort of ritualistic execution style to this entire scenario. And one of the victim, as you tip open his mouth, and he's got these 2 very long snake-like fangs as part of his teeth. One of them is snapped off fairly close to the root, likely in a fight. You're definitely getting the idea that, yep, this is that person we were supposed to find. Based on the condition of the body, you're guessing he's been dead a couple days, maybe a week at the most. Of course, time in the hedge is a little weird, but that would be your best estimate. And you also notice that the note is dated from last year. So if your intellectual prowess is to be believed, the note is probably not related to this murder. It's probably just a thing that was in the area.
I will pocket the note, look at him. Well, I think we found Kalanag, which is going to be a problem.
Like, with Changeling sort of innate
Greenwall
views.
was the name of the motley. It's in our notes, right there.
Sorry, Aaron, you were saying about changelings?
Yes, Greenwall was the name of the motley. I thought we were pretending we didn't know that for comedic effect or something. And Gail wasn't going to say anything.
Okay.
I wanted to ask, with Changeling sort of innate deal sense, does Gail have any idea, like, what the impact of not being able to set up the meeting because the person is no longer alive would be in this context, or no?
Wording is very important, and you were told to get things arranged so that War Dancer could meet Kalanag. Well, there he is.
Tell War Dancer where Kalanag's at.
There you go. Here's your meeting.
Phage, would you please pull him off the wall?
Can I get the wall to release him?
Oh, no.
Manipulation and weird.
You all think I'm the one that's going to get us arrested?
It's inside the hedge. As long as he doesn't just bringing the body
of the hedge.
No.
There are authorities inside the hedge, and they are the worst authorities.
Yes, they are. And yes, there are.
1 success.
Takes you about 10 minutes, but with a little bit of force of will, you're able to help the thorns, especially the ones that are sort of porcupine quilly jagged, one direction only thorns, release. The body's not in great condition when you finally do get it off. It is more or less one piece, though. And of course, it's been dead long enough that most of the blood has drained out, so it's not making too much of a mess. And surprisingly, it's not decayed or rotted all that much either. There's not like that stench of carrion nearby.
All right, so let's bring him back to that field right before the entrance. I'll go out and make a couple calls, see if we can't get War Dancer over here. And our deal will be complete. So I imagine more things will come after that.
Yes, I think this is going to be a bit of a problem.
Yep.
Well, if we all want to head back there, I'll try and hide us in the hedge and make sure that nothing sees us while we're waiting.
Yeah, you guys hide with him. And if anything does see you,
These
just
are
bring him out.
thorns within the hedge, correct?
Sorry?
The thing that Phage was messing with is thorns within the hedge, correct?
Yes.
Would that function for pricking my finger for
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna do that so I have the material component for Pathfinder, if I can.
Okay. So you got the catch succeeded there?
Yeah, the catch is have a thorn that I pricked myself with within the last day. And if I can use one of the thorns that's here for that, I want to.
Yep.
I think I have to make a roll, or no, I don't know.
Yes.
Just to get the component. So that's dexterity and something, if I remember correctly.
For Pathfinder, it's intelligence and weird.
Okay. I was going to hold off on using Pathfinder itself.
Yeah, I think the question was to grab a thorn, not to.
Right, yeah, you have to. Well, I mean, you pull the thorn off and shed blood while you do so.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
But yeah, you can do that. All right. So intelligence and weird.
I think they were going to hold off on using it for now. They just wanted to have the catch fulfilled.
All right. So who's looking to get out? Nero, you are?
So yeah, and I'll explain. You guys stay with him. If anything comes after you, just don't care. Bring him out with you.
Nero, you're rolling intelligence, investigation, and weird.
To leave? Okay.
To leave. You have to find an active gateway because you walked away from and lost sight of the original.
Okay.
So it is gone.
Intelligence, wits, investigation, weird, or intelligence?
Intelligence, investigation, and weird.
Okay.
All three.
Intelligence, investigation,
weird,
and a willpower on that.
And we're following him to where he leaves, but we're not leaving with him.
Okay.
For 2 successes.
Okay. So it takes you about 10 minutes, but you find an area where you'll be able to get a decent spot, and you push your weird into it, and the hedge sort of peels back a little bit, and you can see a grassy field on the other side with a couple of kids playing basketball in a court across the way. And you get the idea that if they look over, they'll see you. And as you look down at yourself, you notice that whereas most of the time you can sort of choose whether you're going to see your own mask or mean, your mask is gone. If they look over, they're going to see Fireboy.
So I very quickly get out.
Okay.
Subtly and quietly.
Give me a stealth and dexterity.
Otherwise, I freak the fuck out of some kids playing basketball.
I saw a man on fire.
I saw a man of fire.
Dude, the movie's called Man on Fire, not A Man on Fire.
No, it's Lava Boy.
Dexterity stealth.
Oh wait, no.
No, it's Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Lava Girl.
I just remembered that. Yeah.
2 successes.
I love our random ass signs.
2 successes.
Okay. So you duck out and jump behind a tree almost immediately, and your mask, as soon as you leave, reasserts itself. And you keep an eye off to one side, and that gate, that opening stays there as long as you're looking at it. Which means it stays open for those kids as well.
Is there anything nearby? Wait. I'm wearing a hoodie. Can I just take my hoodie off and hang it on a branch so it blocks the gate from sight?
Can you cover an entire human-sized door with a hoodie?
I didn't know how big it was.
Okay, well now you know. It's about door size.
Do I think I'll be able to open this particular hole again?
Yeah, it seems to have formed in sort of like a arch where a couple of saplings are growing, and you'll probably have to spend a glamour, but you'll be able to pull it open.
I'll look away.
Whether it'll lead to the same place is an entirely different question.
I stick my head back in. I stick my head back in. Bring him out. Come on. I can't guarantee we'll come back to you if I let this door close.
All right.
I will, of course, do as I'm told.
And then hide him.
All right. As soon as you guys step through and turn your back on the gate, it just vanishes almost instantly.
And then I'll sort of hurry them back over towards the weird tree, actually.
That's like a good 100 yards across open ground.
Oh.
Further back into the woods?
Yeah. That's taking you down towards the creek.
That's fine.
Okay.
Away from the kids.
All right. Can't wait to see you guys weekend at Bernie's in this guy. Meanwhile,
I mean, between
those of you at the graveyard,
it's not hard.
Ow.
You're sort of feeling like this is a bit of a dead end. No pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
I have explored thoroughly the mausoleum that I ran into.
I have thoroughly died inside. I'm having to deal with Liz.
It's not.
I
thoroughly returned to the other two. I don't know.
I'm calling them once we're safe. So.
Okay. So after about half an hour of kicking your heels around the graveyard, your phone rings. Which one are you calling?
Adele.
Okay. Adele's phone rings.
Picks up. Hello.
Hey, Adele. We found Kalinak.
Oh, wonderful. That's good because he. Sorry, say that part again.
He's dead.
Oh. Meh.
Could you guys come?
What? What do you? What?
Hold on just a second, Nero. Kalinag's dead. So
Neo hears this and just lifts his hands up and just walks away.
For some people, that isn't like that doesn't matter.
Good.
Neo's been going for a while. God damn it.
Could you guys come meet us, and I'll give them the creek the creek in this park.
Yeah,
Gwyn's Falls. Surprisingly
the creek
enough.
Gwyn's Falls at Gwyn's Falls Park.
of course. We will be there.
Hey,
Okay.
cool.
For time's sake, you guys do eventually all manage to assemble.
After, so yeah, once we're all here. I'm just sort of like rubbing my forehead as we're standing over this corpse.
That's not.
So our cultists are a bit more culty.
What?
Either that or somebody killed all of them and just posed this body on a patch of briars.
What kind of cult is this?
I don't think this is. I strongly suspect this is not the.
Yeah, I'm looking at that body with my occult knowledge. It's seeing if I know what kind of because he was hanging out with them and they were apparently friends, and now he's dead. So I'm suspicious about this train of logic.
Okay.
Like,
Intelligence and occult? Sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make that roll as well.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
While that's going on, this is Gwyn's Falls at the Gwyn's Falls Park. I feel like this is a place that people might frequent, and we've got a body sitting on the ground.
We're amongst the
It's
trees.
fine. It's fine.
I'm gonna spend a willpower
We're
on
not
that.
like boating down the river.
No. In fact,
Just success.
the river
rolls.
is about 8 feet across.
One success.
Yeah.
For
The trees are doing less to hide the body, and the fact that you kind of have him down and over the bank is probably what's hiding him right now, though.
4 successes.
Okay. Yeah, people generally don't.
That's my thing.
Yeah, people. I mean, ritual sacrifice is ritual sacrifice.
Yes.
But usually you go for somebody who's not one of your friends if you can,
Right.
because friends aren't
This is-
easy, especially when you're a changeling.
Yes.
Especially when you're a cult.
Also, that seems a little bit. Well, it makes someone an obvious suspect.
Yeah, it does that as well.
Do you
Of course.
mention the note thing, Nero?
No, I don't, because I figure it was from a year ago, so I don't think it's relevant.
Perfect. Okay. That's okay.
He doesn't. He just has it in his pocket.
No, that's
Someone
fair.
else might, but-
So this is not the actual place where
No, we found him in the hedge.
we should go back there. He might still be there.
He's a ghost.
Not sure if we can get back there.
Because
Edge.
yes.
Also, we'd have to cross an open field.
We can't leave it here.
I don't understand the problem.
Mundanes are in this park.
Children, specifically.
Not a good idea, Adele.
And we need to either somehow figure out a way to get him to the meeting tonight, or get War Dancer here.
You all have phones.
Not her number.
Do you even know her real name? Her mundane name? Because you keep going on about how people don't
Yes,
have the
let's
same
use
names, and we need to know them
mundane
so that we can
names.
find and ask. And
We don't know her mundane name. Although I do pull
Okay.
the phone out and call Will. Because now that I think about it, he might know how to get a hold of her.
Will does not answer, actually.
I turn off the phone. Oh, there goes that idea.
Try and call Gilly.
Yeah. Just as a quick question,
Yes.
did we get the sense that the sort of place the summer court has set up, they usually have people there, or?
It did seem kind of like a permanent, and now that you have your own hollow, you're pretty sure that, that's a hollow. So it's definitely
they have,
there when it's there.
This is how do I ask this right? The wording like with War Dancer specifically, or essentially with the Summer Court? I thought it was closer to with the Summer Court, but
it was basically with the summer leaning. Now
And
the
sorry.
meeting was supposed to happen with War Dancer, however.
yeah.
How
Final question. I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry.
No, it's fine.
How far is that the military base that they've kind of co-opted from here?
As far as that goes, let me do a quick Google.
Idea. Drive there. And
It's
come
about
back.
15-minute drive or so.
Gail will. It might be more efficient and cause less of a stir if someone just went by and notified them so that they could.
Well,
I go over
how-
and like both hands on one of Gail's hands. You are brilliant. Thank you. Can someone go get them?
Gale and you, Nero, are kind of the ones that were more interested in the Summer Court. You two might want to go and get them while we try and hide this body.
That would be the best idea.
how
Or one of us could stay with the body to
What are you trying?
aggressively guard and.
Adele,
I can scare people away.
Adele, what are you trying to say?
I am trying to ask the
send-
storyteller how big the body is.
It's about as big as you are.
Adele.
You, Jeremy, not you, Adele.
Okay.
People send lots of other people when stuff goes wrong around here. Phage. Lots of people.
Adele's like, I
They
will
call
be right
people.
back, and goes to head to her car.
Thank you, Adele.
All right.
I would say, and you can disagree with me on this, but I would say it would be fair to say that Adele may have the implement, a bag big enough to
If
store
you
a
will.
body in.
A body bag, yeah.
Sitting next to her
Roll me
shovel.
a single D10. I've got a percentage in mind.
Okay. It may not be in the car right now. She may have to go home and get it. But
Yep,
8.
you got one.
Okay. So she
You have
reaches
one
in,
your goddamn
pushes the
trunk.
shovel aside.
Yes.
Retrieves a bag and
Well, no, she pushes the shovel aside and then goes, okay.
pushes
Sheet plastic, ground cloth, tarp,
Yes.
body bag.
Yes.
Let's go with the bag.
The bag has less lie on it currently.
Right. Yes.
So and just drifts her way back and drops it on the body.
Why do you have a body bag?
Is that relevant to the situation?
Maybe.
Should I head by the Summer Court or Nero or both of us?
Well, we have a body bag now. We can probably just.
Someone
How
notice?
feasible
my
is it
thought.
to walk back with the body in a body bag?
Intelligence and streetwise, everybody.
We smuggle
I would
him
hope that it's
out.
not an actual body bag, but it might be.
I
in her-
realize that.
Like a garbage bag, not a.
Yes, exactly.
No,
like a
I'm
big
thinking
hefty bag.
it's an actual body bag because
Oh, okay.
Adele probably has somebody she knows at the
This
city
is
morgue,
true.
and
Two
they're like,
successes
and like,
for Neofly.
hey, do you ever have any extra ones of these lying around? Sure, I can get you like half a dozen. Awesome.
Two successes for myself.
One
Everybody
success.
else is
Okay.
One success.
The musician and the cop both sort of
I have no
arrive at the
idea.
conclusion that a group of individuals carrying a body bag out of, or across an open area might not excite a huge amount of attention. A very motley crew of individuals in civilian clothes carrying one out of the woods at a city park without any form of official or uniforms or anything is
We're
going to raise every goddamn red flag anybody sees them has ever had or will.
So
bad idea.
The body bag will help to keep people who are wandering by from noticing you are all sitting here with a corpse, while Gale and I go get War Dancer.
I was about to say, if it's in a bag, can I then just like pile dirt and stuff on top of the bag to like make it look like a mound?
I have a shovel. Excuse me.
Of course you do.
We'll let you guys get to that.
You know
Gale,
what?
would you like to join me?
Of course. Just sort of lock arms.
Just.
All right.
Neophyte sees this, just like, wait, no,
because there's other things I want to get to before 6 p.m. You guys do manage to conceal the body, which is now in a bag. You guys do get to the summer court and manage to, over the next half hour or so, find Sledge, who finds War Dancer. Explain to her the situation and that you need her to come follow you so that things can be completed according to agreement, which she does. So we are fast forwarding to War Dancer standing with her hands on her hips and a somewhat perplexed look on her face at the 7 of you who are sort of doing the kindergarten class show and tell, clasped hands, big smiles, body bag.
Zip. I reach out and unzip the body bag.
Yeah, that's him. Jesus. That's, and you found him in the hedge.
Yes.
Pinned to a wall.
It is worth mentioning that, especially considering that where he died, a meeting could still be arranged.
Adele talks to ghosts.
Meeting with possibly, if that's a lead you all want to follow, by all means, help yourselves. This is definitely going to throw a bit of a damper on the festivities tonight, because now apparently someone is hunting changelings, or someone amongst us is gotten a taste for murder. Well, the good news is that it's probably not a keeper, because they tend to just take you back rather than kill you, at least what few stories have been.
I think Adele and I go and reach for a piece of paper at the same time.
Yes.
It just so happens, and we had discovered a few days ago, it was a different graveyard, I'm pretty sure, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I discovered this at I don't remember the graveyard. Yeah,
I think it'd be easier if you both just hand her the papers you've got.
Yeah, and I discovered this.
I have one too.
Yeah, it was next to him when we found him, but it's dated a year ago, so I didn't think it was relevant to his death in particular, and I paper as well.
Greenmount Cemetery. That was the name of the place.
I'm sorry, this is 3 years ago.
And that's what. Hand her both letters.
Yeah, Greenmount Cemetery was the name of the place where we found the first one.
Yes, that was it.
Okay, so you found a letter that's been typed, and you found a letter that's been written, and
read them.
They're dated 2 years apart.
And I don't know what it is, but mine certainly suggests that there's.
No, I see the references to privateering, which is
yes.
Well,
and then this one.
She indicates Kalanag. It's definitely not privateer work. This one,
however, I say indicating the one that's seems to be more referencing genocide of some kind.
Yes, that's a bit. Well.
It is for my potential.
She'll hand them back. I can see how this adds a lovely new number of wrinkles to this. Well. She looks at all of you. Tonight is going to be difficult. I would recommend discretion. Trust is not something easily earned or lightly given, especially amongst individuals who share our experiences. But I trust I can count on all of you being there this evening.
We'll be there. We were planning on it.
Of course.
Excellent. There may be some individuals with questions for you if you would be kind enough to make yourself disposable for at least a short period of time.
What are you going to do?
Ask
People
questions.
might need to ask you some details. Other people with a more investigative or insightful bent than myself. I like hitting and stabbing things, if we're going to be somewhat reductive. Individuals who like answers to things, well, Adele, I'm sure you know any number of those.
What
Yes.
do you want us to do?
I would say chuck him back through.
That?
Unless you have some subtle and undetectable method of disposal on this side.
Mm.
No.
Mm.
I look at Adele. You
Oh.
sound like you're about to suggest that you do.
Perhaps that's a discussion best had another time.
Splendid. I look forward to not being a part of that.
I'm just waiting for Adele to suggest like a
Well-
barrel full of lies.
What?
A
Suggesting what?
A barrel full
barrel
of
full of lie.
I mean,
Well,
he wasn't going to discuss her ease of disposing of corpses in front of people she's not supernaturally bound to.
anymore. Oh no, you weren't there. It was just us.
No, I would
And
never.
that is the last thing that War Dancer will say. Well, I appreciate your concentration to fulfilling our agreement. Of course, this concludes that level of negotiation. Hopefully, should we have a compact later, it will have a more pleasant ending. I'll see you all this evening. And she turns on her heel and walks very stiffly away.
I find what looks to be enough of an arch to form a doorway, drag his body out of the body bag so Adele gets to keep her body bag, and use a glamour and chuck him through.
All right. Give me a stamina and stealth to see if you can do this highly aerobic activity without any nearby middle school basketball players noticing.
It's not like just a knot in the forest.
Oh, there are some, but it's a very sparse forest.
You want me to handle that one?
Yes.
I will do that.
All right.
With my 2 dots of stamina and 1 dot of stealth. Oh, I have 2 dots of stealth. I have 4 dots total, so it wouldn't be that difficult.
And there's always willpower.
I will
Except when there isn't.
I will stamina stealth and spend a willpower.
All right.
2 successes.
Okay. All right. So you manage to get him out, get the door open a little ways out and down so that hopefully it doesn't draw too much attention, and tumble a changeling corpse back into the hedge. I would like everybody to roll resolve and...
Who's the one that spends glamour on that? I'm assuming me, because I'm the one that had the body.
Whoever. I would like everybody to roll resolve and composure. Those of you that saw the body and were in the hedge at the time, -1.
Resolve and composure, -1.
3 successes.
Composure.
Okay.
Is
I-
this for clarity?
I don't get 10 against this. Okay.
3 successes.
3.
Jack,
Yes, it is.
okay. Because my seeming curse
Mhm.
means that.
1 success.
So I'm at a -2, correct?
Yeah.
So yes, you'd be at a -2, I believe.
Okay.
Damn it.
Which was relevant, because I don't get 10 again. And I rolled.
Mm-hmm.
Three
All right.
successes.
Good. So, Adele, there's a little creep down your spine as that body goes tumbling back in there.
For a particular reason?
There's several reasons for you.
Yeah.
As the hedge sort of snaps shut. You've never disposed of a body in a hedge.
No. They get buried underneath the large house I own.
Right. And you've never encountered or much less left a ghost in the hedge.
Uh-huh.
But you do know enough about the weirdness of that border area to know that things left there always are generally affected by some level of change.
Right.
And you have no idea, as that hedge gate snaps shut, what may or may not become of that body or that ghost, if there's a ghost.
I mean, it's been in there for a few days already, so
right.
It's not good regardless. But yeah, okay,
Yep.
fair point.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You don't lose any clarity or anything, but
Okay.
you're feeling decidedly uncomfortable. But you also are sort of at the point where you're like, it's not like there's anything we can guarantee that we can do. And there might be bigger fish to fry / we're also sort of on a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So at the moment, she has probably unconsciously slipped behind probably Nero
Yep.
in sort of a hiding gesture.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of look over my shoulder to notice. I don't move or say anything. I just sort of present a nice, comfortable place to hide, I guess.
Okay. All right.
This is also uncomfortable. And she's staring at the ground and says, "Do we want to answer their questions?"
I mean, they're likely going to ask us what we found and where we found it.
But we don't know what they're going to ask.
Really, the
And
questions...
someone wrote those notes. Someone who's been here longer than us.
I'll look at my note. Adele, can I see that other note?
Oh, yes. And just the little hand like reaches over your shoulder.
And I'm just gonna hold them next to each other and compare. Can I tell if these? I know they weren't. One was typed, one was written. They're on two separate pieces of paper and two years apart. But the other aspects of language and writing analysis, syntax usage, things like that. Can I tell if these are any way related to one another?
Well, they were based on syntax, sentence structure, that sort of thing. Definitely two different people, obviously, writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as whether or not one is in answer to another, 2 years and change, or a little less than 2 years. Hard to say.
Why? They're only dated with the month and year, right?
No.
No, they both have days
they're
as well.
They're fully dated.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why date?
Is there any way that I can make a roll to see if there's any chance that I can find a similarity in it?
In the date?
In the date and kind of just in the letters themselves in general, just like
newspapers.
basis.
If you're
the newspapers when it came out, the date was weird when I came out that night. The dates may be on there so that you know what date you came in and out. If they got lost.
That's my why? If you're writing a letter, if you're writing a note to someone, what purpose does the date?
Intelligence and
Dale
academics.
just looks at Nero. Proper writing etiquette?
No, outside of proper writing etiquette.
Yes, you are writing a note, otherwise known as a letter, to another individual. So you write things such as the date on it to convey when the letter was written and sent.
Does my writing
A
specialization apply to this?
generally acceptable part of writing a letter. It's also very important if it's a letter of thanks or communication where when it's sent is time sensitive.
I hold them up
Does my writing specialization apply for this, Jack?
Yeah, definitely.
while rolls are being made. This was stapled.
2 successes.
This was stapled to a briar in the hedge. Where'd you find this one, Adele?
Hold on just a second. Jack, you have a message in chat.
Yes, I'm getting to that.
I found it in a tree.
This was found in a tree. These weren't mailed to someone. These were left to be found. What does it matter when they? What does it matter when the date was at the time?
So you know when they were left.
Are you expecting people not to find them for years? Like
No one found us for years.
Genuinely, what's the point of the date on these letters? Is what I'm asking. So,
Neofly with 2 successes. Proper letter writing etiquette makes sense. Especially like and as you're thinking about it with everything that you've sent and experienced and learned since you've returned, sometimes the content of the letter is very important, but sometimes the position or timing of the message or communication is just as important. Sometimes it's just, and these were either typed out or written by hand. The emails just come naturally stamped with date and time. And yeah, most people, when they write a letter to somebody, have a way of ensuring that at least a rough time period or something is known, whether that's by the postmark, if you send it through the mail, or by writing it on the letter itself, it's fairly common practice for many people, not all people, but many people, to date their correspondence, especially if it's formalized in any sense.
I feel like there really isn't anything else more to this than etiquette, but it really is. It is interesting the way they were placed.
But as to why someone might put a date on a letter, I think it might be even more relevant to ask why a letter isn't dated. If it isn't, then why would common practice be followed?
I just shrug and I fold them up and I reach to hand the other one back to Adele.
There's nobody there.
There's nobody there.
So look around. Where did Adele go?
She's gone.
I don't know.
I'll call her phone, see if it goes either rings or goes to a no service. Or this number's not.
Probably straight to voicemail.
Okay.
Fold both up and put them back in my vest.
We should probably head back to the cars.
Did she go back in?
Maybe.
I look back at the gate that we tossed the body through. Is it still open?
No, there's no gate.
I look around. Is there any gate? Like, do I just happen to see a gate?
Nope, no gates.
Maybe she went back to the car.
I mean, Adele, unless you did.
No.
I was gonna say, I don't think Adele's that stupid. I need to be somewhere else. I think I'll just run into the hedge by myself. That's a great idea.
I don't know.
No, Adele has found somewhere enclosed room, something like that she can hide in.
Okay.
Find an escape room.
Yep.
So do you head to your house or the crack house?
Neofly's gonna head back to Adele's car and see if it's still there.
Yeah,
It would probably still be there.
Okay.
You'd probably head back to her house, actually.
Okay.
Because it's more instinctual than rational.
Okay. And she's just going on foot?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what Adele's doing for the next couple hours.
Yep. Sorry.
Is there anything anybody else needs to do before we move on to the assembly?
Out of curiosity, because I didn't think about it earlier, would I have had a chance to, over the past couple of days, had a chance to talk with Flash and do our cultural exchange?
Yeah.
Okay. So that would have already happened.
Yeah, if you wanted to have made time for that, you can have made time for that.
Yes.
I fret. And I go into Adele's spider room in in the crack house.
Okay.
And leave the thing I was making on, I don't know, whatever looks like a pile where she was sitting.
There's probably a couple books stacked up at least, or a chair
Yep.
or something.
Looking at Adele's car before we leave, are her keys still in it?
I do not think Adele is the sort of person that leaves
No,
her
she
keys
does not
in
leave
her
her keys
vehicle.
in the car.
No.
I will text Adele's cell phone, because we know it's just going to go straight to voicemail if I call. Left your car. And then I guess we'll head back to the house.
I mean, it's in a more reputable place than it's usually left.
Fair.
Yeah. Before we start heading out, Neofly would kind of just raise the question. Guys, last night I had this really weird dream that turned into a nightmare. My keeper found me, and they took me back.
What
So
happened?
a good thing Adele already
what was
ran.
everything? What were there any? Did the floor tilt? Were there stars in the sky? What was there a kraken?
I was in a room on the second floor of the house, and I heard one of the people that were taken with me. Her name is Butterfly. I heard her at the door. I opened it. She was there, but she wasn't the same. She pulled out her arm for me to take her, and I took her, and she just turned into a pile of sticks. And I heard that voice. I don't remember what she said, but I woke up in a cold sweat in a chair. I'm just happy that it wasn't real. But
Lark is visibly flinching away from you at this point.
I hug you.
Oh.
I mean,
Gail says nothing.
I don't know what that means, but as far as I assume that they are probably looking for their lost toys. So
it means that we need to stay together.
definitely.
Well, that's already a little bit of a problem.
Adele can take care of herself most of the time.
Yeah. Plus,
Gail's
she's
going
been.
to step a little bit away from the rest of the group.
I let go of the hug.
Gail,
Who was
everything
that
all
one?
right? You had a dream kind of like that too, didn't you?
Would he have any reason to know that?
Absolutely none.
You stepped away when he talked about it. That's probably
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of just. It was just kind of like a broad assumption.
Gail's on her phone. Because she's calling Adele, which presumably still going to voicemail because it's been like 2 minutes since the last time she called. Hey, just I'm sure you need some time or something. I'm sorry we left a dead body and you didn't get another one, I guess.
That's not how you do that, Gail.
I love Gail so fucking much.
I look over at Neil Fly. I don't think she
I-
had a dream last night.
Can I tell? Because I have fairly high empathy.
We should get going then.
Just
Oh.
wanted to make sure that you're still all right. If tonight is still something you're inclined towards, I apologize.
Click.
That's snap the phone shut.
Right.
All right.
Just walk across the room. Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to step away and make sure Adele knew where we were planning on being for the rest of the day.
Right. We should actually probably get going towards that.
I think Mara wanted to roll something.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to tell that Gale is off.
Yeah.
Wits and empathy.
Yeah, because I have pretty good empathy. So
Would this be subterfuge?
If you're going to contest it, it would be manipulation and subterfuge. Yes.
Okay.
all right,
I'm
here's mine.
spending a glamour on that.
One
Okay.
success.
0 successes can still happen.
Yep.
Mhm.
Manipulation, subterfuge. I'm not clicking because I don't have a penalty. And +1 for glamour. 1 success.
There might be something off, but it's hard to read, and
Mhm.
you're not entirely sure. Besides, you've been
There was a
told
body, yeah.
repeatedly, and you've been told repeatedly over the last week or so that you frequently do not actually understand what's going on,
Yep.
and you're not entirely sure if that might apply here as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, kind of hard to say.
Okay.
All right. But we will fast forward then, unless anybody has anything entirely imperative, to what happens this evening. All of you, kind of with the buildup that has been happening, have that strong inclination to at least make a slight effort or inclination to formalizing a little bit this evening. Gale probably more than anybody, but still there's a level of cleaning and dressing yourself up to whatever extent that you can manage.
I get the proper Booker T look on.
Yep, pretty much. And based on your encounters with other changelings along the way, your hedge spun is obviously best choice. If you don't have any of that, then nicer clothes, but accentuating more the aspects of your mien that you can, knowing that your mask will hide them from anybody who shouldn't be able to see. And right around the sort of 4:35-ish area, people begin to assemble near the vehicles and find their way down. Adele, do you think you've calmed down enough?
Yes,
Okay.
eventually it'll take her probably about an hour or so.
Okay.
But
Do
she will
you-
eventually find her way. Gail will just get a text saying, "I'm fine, I will meet you there."
Yep. Good enough.
Walk.
Okay. And you've got your
Actually, she'll call a.
okay, I was going to say she'll probably call us something and go get her vehicle, right?
Yes.
Okay. But you all assemble near the front of the banquet hall where this is apparently going to be met. And standing outside is a very large, imposing individual. And he's got an immense, just huge physique. His hands themselves, he's stuffed more or less into a tuxedo. His hands are roughly the size of your average 8-point shovel. And the fingernails look like teeth off the scoop end of a backhoe. He's got his head cleanly shaved, and a huge under-thrust jaw, massive underbite. Gives you very faint smile as you approach. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Come along inside. I'll show you where our event is taking place. He'll guide you in. You can call me Keys. I'm the doorman, as it were, for tonight's festivities. But on behalf of the Lady of Autumn and the Leaden Mirror, I'd like to welcome you to the assembly. Sorry for the vagueness. I'm sure proper names and traditions will be established over the next few weeks once we get things settled. But tonight, well, we need to at least get the foundation laid. As you follow him, he leads you through a banquet hall where there's a number of tables set up in the round. It looks like there's some wait staff preparing for eventual attendees, setting out stemware, plate settings, and that sort of thing. He walks you right through there and down a back hallway, down a set of stairs, and to a basement entryway. It definitely looks more like a storage room entrance. But as he pulls the door back, you see inside a very formalized sort of conference reception area that's been set up. Very, very well lit for the most part. But as you step inside, it's extremely cold. It's not the biting, sharp cold of a windy January night, but a slow, creeping 3 a.m. sort of cold. A cold that gently wraps its fingers around your spine when you live alone and come home to find the door of your house already slightly ajar. That kind of cold. The light filters through crystal chandeliers that are just out of reach for most of you. Keys has to sort of carefully negotiate his headspace with a bit of caution, being one of the taller individuals. But there's about 40 changelings or so inside of various, nobody looking quite the same as anybody you've ever seen, although most of the people that you know already are definitely in attendance. There's an atmosphere that's almost gravid with anticipation. And you guys have a few moments to yourself in the midst of all this as Keys shuts the door behind you and apparently goes back to check and see if there's any last-minute arrivals before things get started.
Anyone else feel like somebody's about to throw a grenade in here?
I was thinking the same exact thing.
We'll be fine.
I was gonna say, Naomi has flashbacks.
Yeah. I just wrote in the chat, let's hope nothing goes up in flames. That would not be fun.
We'll be fine.
I'm sure it will all be fine.
I look around and see if any of the if like the walkabouts or the haunted waters are visible nearby.
You guys see Acacia a little across the way. She's very somberly dressed, not in her usual sort of woodswoman attire. But she gives you a little bit of a wave. You see Flish Flash and a couple of the other walkabouts around. You also, Nero, you notice the ogre that punched you in the face when you guys went to investigate the first hollow location.
Missed punching me in the face. Thank you.
Missed punching you. It tried to punch you in the face.
Almost
punched you in the face. She gives you kind of a toothy grin. She's around with a few of the other people that you recognize from when you visited the summer court. And yeah, it seems that almost everybody that you've mentioned meeting or have seen before is definitely in attendance, although it takes you a while to sift through the crowd and really get an idea of where everybody is.
I mean, really, if someone were to throw a grenade, this would be the best possible situation.
Yeah. Neoflies kind of just want to keep an eye out for Sunset Blue, see if he notices her in the crowd.
Give me a wits and composure.
Well, do you want to mingle or hang back?
I'm gonna go be a wallflower.
One success.
Takes you about a minute or two, but then you do see her, yes. Statuesque, taller than you expected, shock of very well cared for blue hair, short, falling, in a bob kind of, and phenomenally gorgeous as you would have expected.
Okay. I kind of nod towards Phage. Hey, Phage. I think I see Miss Blue over there. If you want to go with me to have a little chat.
Certainly.
Let's head over there then.
Phage, as she is going, is sort of making as big a presence of herself as she can, just sort of being a giant in the room, basically.
Give me a presence and socialize.
And she's trying to make a big impression, so we're going to spend a willpower on that, too.
Okay.
4 successes.
4 successes is good. Yeah, you're definitely sort of commanding at least a small sector of the room as you move through it, catching the eye. Most of the conversation seems to be fairly quiet. There's a definite sense of trepidation and caution in the room, but you might not interrupt too many conversations, but you definitely bring some pause to a few of them as you drift past.
And it helps that Phage is dressed very confidently. She's definitely of the mind that you don't dress to accommodate your body. You make your body work for you. And so she's very much dressed in sort of a showing off what she's got kind of.
Okay. Solid. All right.
Well, I guess we're mingling. I say as people split away.
Adele will go wallflower with.
Yeah, I'm wallflowering, and
I'm feeling social at the moment.
all of the other what was the I can't remember their names, but the motley that took us in, all the other ones are here. Thanks. Is Hepzibah here or Hesab? No, I can't remember her name.
The one we've never seen.
The one we've never seen. Hepzibah. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do I see anyone that looks like I might imagine she looks like?
You see a couple people, actually, that look like you imagine she would look like. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, we did see her once, like, through a window.
From a window, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very far up.
See several people that look like they might be the girl from The Ring.
Yes, pretty much.
One of which is Adele.
Yeah, one of which is standing right next to you.
Adele, right? Yep. But yeah, no, there's a fair few of that sort of area. There's another person who's got kind of longer, darker hair. Her complexion isn't quite as pale, but and she's got a small harp actually sort of hung by her belt, very sort of neo-bardic kind of aspect to her. There's an individual who looks fairly similar to Adele, if Adele had a male sibling who was possibly 2 or 3 decades her senior. But with fewer holes, but that a very sort of grave touched, stark kind of appearance to them. There's a number of darklings flitting around. Yes, not flailing. doing the Kermit the Frog in Panic maneuver. Yes,
not flailing, more like floating.
Not flailing. Right, yeah, just drifting through the crowds. But no, Phage and Neofly, as you maneuver your way through this assembly of individuals over towards sunset, she definitely notices you coming. You don't exactly cut a subtle jib as you move through the room, and she sort of holds up a hand briefly to whoever was speaking to her with a sort of smile and turns her attention to you. Oh, welcome, youngsters.
Miss Blue, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Neofly, and this is my comrade Phage. You've been hard to talk for a certain fellow teammate of ours, and I've actually been looking for you for a minute. I heard that you are
you're not the only one.
I've heard you're pretty well known in the night scene, and I know that you are quite the talk of the town when it comes to the club life. And I've been looking for some form of employment in the form of music. You say I'm a musician, and I haven't been here for much long, but I feel like with your assistance, I could probably be able to score a few good gigs. And it would be nice to have a person like you by my side. Good connections.
Well, barely back for a week and you're already asking for favors from somebody you've just met. That's bold.
Well, you'll find that bold is the defining trait of the unlikely.
Meanwhile, we hang out on the wall.
Not incorrect.
Not incorrect, definitely.
Oh.
Just tell you about the time we fought off hedge wolves.
That was less about being bold and more about being stupid.
That's a rather intriguing offer you make there, sir. I didn't catch your name.
Neofly.
Neofly, right. The second, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing like a bit of hinted history to intrigue someone's attention sometimes. I'll have to see how good you are.
Well, if you have the time.
And right about then, there's the sound of a spoon on a glass. And everybody kind of glances over. And you see a tall, very tall individual. He's strong, very strongly built, with a single eye in the middle of his forehead. Skin very, very smooth, very, very pale. Slightly intimidating presence. Well, I believe that it's time for the business of the evening to commence. So, as one of Arcanima, I'd like to welcome all of you to the Autumn Convocation, where kings and queens might be made, and others of lesser standing established. Many of you in motley and without are welcome to tonight's celebration, where even the least of us might have their voice heard until the reign of the Leaden Mirror commences. welcome, one and all, where we are to establish our freehold's identity. I will be conducting these ceremonies. Those of you who have not met me may call me Mr. Glare. And now, our ceremony begins. And that's where we're going to leave it for this evening.
I was about to say, and that's where a grenade with iron filings flew.
I was gonna say,
Tink, tink,
Have
tink.
a lovely. Say goodbye, everybody, and
Say
have
goodbye.
a lovely.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.